welcome to another edition of Salukimania. I'm SIU writer Todd Hefferman, and with me today, filling in for Mike, for Les Winkler, is Mike Reis.
How about for Mike Winkler? Who's he?
SIU Hall of Famer Mike Reis, filling in for Les, who's covering golf this week. Salukis are playing at Northern Iowa Saturday. Kickoff is at 4 p.m. in the Unidome in Frigid Falls. Shouldn't be too cold, but no snow, I don't think, yet, so that's encouraging. But Salukis came up with a big league victory on Saturday at South Dakota State. Northern Iowa lost their first league game of the year against top-ranked North Dakota State by 1 point. They led most of that game, Mike, but they need a win pretty badly, and now they've lost Jake Farley for the year. And SIU needs a win pretty badly to stay in the playoff.
Well, Southern needs to go 1-1, Todd, in the next 2 weeks to stay in the playoff hunt. And these are two tough games at Northern Iowa and North Dakota State coming to Carbondale. But you have a feeling that if Southern can split these next two games, then the schedule softens, including a week off. And
Right.
so now they're in position. You still have to win those games. But that's the importance for Southern in this game. And for Northern Iowa, you're at home if you want to win the league and you hope that somebody can put a loss on NDSU, you better win at home. And in Northern Iowa's case, they have played a strong schedule. And it'll be interesting to see their mood on Saturday. I think a lot of SIU people, wanted them to win the game in order to have a chance to look past Southern this coming week. But I think there's also a chance that they could still be down. That was a tough loss for them, plus Farley's injury. I mean, you lead by 13 points in the fourth quarter, and you think you're going to beat the number one team in the country and the two-time defending champion, and you don't. Frequently it can carry over, and that's what I'm curious to see Saturday.
I'm curious to see how SIU responds after that big win. They've shown a great balance on offense. Right. And now Northern Iowa is a little susceptible, I think, a little bit more to the run with losing Farley, and they have a lot of sacks, but they're not as aggressive as SIU is, and SIU plays very well on the road.
Well, they do, and they play well in that building too. Even some of Southern's worst teams have played great games up there, but still Southern has only won twice up there. Dale Lennon has one of the wins. He actually has 2 wins in that building, having won while coaching the University of North Dakota, and so it'll be interesting to watch Southern. Northern Iowa's defense will be interesting to watch without Farley, but at the same time, they've only allowed 9 touchdowns this year. Conversely, Northern Iowa looks like it can score. When you get 23 points at the Fargo Dome, you know how to score, and David Johnson is an excellent player and a probable pro.
And he's a little bit better than Zenner in some ways. He's a little bit faster, I think. Size is similar, but I think they use him a little bit more. They throw to him out of the backfield a little bit more than they do with Zenner, and Sawyer looks comfortable with him.
And it seems like Northern Iowa has more deep threats. The last couple of years they haven't been as potent on offense as in some other years. For example, when Sanders was their quarterback. Mm-hmm. But Cole Morgan has really come into his own. There's some good quarterbacks in the league, and this is one of them. And they've got speed. They can throw the ball, and Southern will really be tested, especially when it blitzes on Saturday.
Yeah, it's a great environment for a game. Lennon is 5-1 lifetime against Northern Iowa. Yeah. The one loss was 17-10. They were very close in winning that game too. So he's got a little bit of swagger, I think, going up there, and I think the team knows, if they don't know his record by now, they're going to figure it out.
Yeah, and they have a comfort level, and we see this, don't we, Todd, a marked difference kind of in their play. And the same was true with Jerry Kill before him. Same really has been true for a lot of years at Southern. The game plan, the results in conference games, they seem to be just stronger, don't they? And I think it's the familiarity with the opponent. I think it's one of the advantages in hiring Lennon from North Dakota and now with the Dakotas in the league, there's such a familiarity, and Southern seems prepared. There aren't a lot of first possession scores in these games, in these league games, where there are when Southern plays non-conference ball. And we'll see what happens on Saturday and see if the same thing holds true. But they've had an excellent plan for Northern Iowa over the last few years. They have the best record against Northern Iowa than anybody's had.
And I think this is the best offense they may have had balance-wise the last 3 years, maybe even 5 years since Lennon's gotten here. they've scored 27 points every game. Do you think that's going to continue? Do you think that's they're
there's
good
no
enough
reason,
that it's going to
yeah,
continue?
there's no reason to think now, these next 2 weeks, especially in 2 weeks against NDSU,
Yeah.
it is hard to score on them. You can win 9-3 and think you're ahead by 3 touchdowns.
Awesome.
It's but here's Northern Iowa just got 23, and so but it's going to be hard to score these next 2 weeks. Harder in 2 weeks. This is the best offense since his second championship team in 2009. It's the best offense under Kalen DeBoer, the offensive coordinator, and it has everything to do with Corey Faulkner's maturity.
Yeah, and the offensive line protection has been
Well,
superb.
it's been better than it was last year, and it's been surprising too, because that was to be a weak link for this club.
And they've had so many injuries there. They've
Yeah.
had several guys step up, and now he's saying even when Haremza and Notario come back, they're probably not going to start just because they're so comfortable with the group they have
Right.
now.
But now they've got a proven 7, and it doesn't, and Haremza and Notario are going to have to fight to get back. There's no question about it, because they've got a comfort level right now. Faulkner has not been sacked much, and they run it, especially on bad fields, which isn't going to be the problem on Saturday. The run blocking has improved all year. The pass blocking has been strong all season.
Well, we will see. Kickoff's at 4 p.m. up in Cedar Falls. We'll have a live blog starting at 3:15 on thesouthern.com. The game is on the Salukis Radio Network, and Mike and the gang will start at 3 o'clock, and hope to see you in. Thanks for joining us today.